Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today we'll be checking out Dust: An Elysian Tail. This is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG with metroidvania elements. The game was developed by Humble Hearts, which is a small indie studio. So small in fact, it consists of one man, Dean Dodrill, who is solely responsible for the game's development and animation. Now he outsourced the music for the game, but everything else was done solely by him, which is pretty crazy. Now here in this video I'll be showing you some gameplay here, as well as giving you my initial thoughts and impressions on Dust: An Elysian Tail. Now this game has been out for about a year now. It actually first launched on the Xbox Live Marketplace back in August of 2012. However, it is just now coming to the PC via Steam, and I've got my hands on an early build of the game, which I'll be showing you. Well, I believe this is the final build, but I just have early access to it before launch. So I wanted to show you some gameplay and again give you my initial thoughts and impressions. So let's begin by talking about the game's combat. Once again, this is a action RPG, side-scrolling and 2D. It's of the hack and slash variety as well. So the combat is sort of pretty basic. We've got basic and special attacks, but then also specialty moves. And I guess we can just cover that here. Let's first move into the next area. Okay, so we've got a basic attack here, and you can chain that basic swing for multiple strikes, and then you've got a specialty attack, and if you go, for example, basic special, you'll do an uppercut. If you do 2 basic and 2 special, you do a throw move, so I'll do that here, go 2 basic and then 2 special, and then I pick up a guy and throw him down on the ground. And with the basic special, I can go uppercut and then knock someone on the ground, or you can go uppercut and then attack them in the air. And then there's also this special dust attack where you spin your blade like this, all sorts of crazy, and then you can also do that while flying through the air like that. Pretty intense combat, and rather fluid and quite enjoyable as well. There's also a dodge move here that we're able to do, and that's going to use up a little bit of that white flame up at top, if you notice that, as it slowly diminishes and goes to red. And that flame is also used for our sidekick's ability. Now our sidekick is that little floating orange creature, whatever that is supposed to be, and she's got a couple of different attacks that she can do. So she's got essentially a basic attack, and I've got this fireball, but there's also an alternate attack that I've just recently picked up, or rather the fireball is the alternate attack. I started off with this little sort of like a blue flame thing, and then I just recently picked up these fireballs. Now in and of themselves, it's just basically your ranged attack. It's done through your companion though. She doesn't really ever die. She can get silenced at times, but she's always at your side while you're going through combat. So if I've got ranged enemies, I just need to face in their direction and cast her attack, and then she'll throw a couple of abilities at them. Obviously that's not working too well right now. I've got no control over the direction other than left or right. I can't tell it to aim up or down or anything like that. So by itself, it's not really that special. However, when I combine it with my dust attack, watch what happens here. Massive fireballs just rain from the sky. It's pretty crazy. So when you combine it with your spinning attack, it actually becomes very, very effective as an alternate method of dealing damage in combat. And yeah, the combat in this game is really great. You know, this is a game that got rave reviews from critics when it first came to Xbox Live Marketplace last year, and I was really sad at that point that I didn't have the console to take a look at it, but I'm so happy that it's now on its way to PC. Now, as I mentioned, it's a metroidvania style game, so there's a few elements that it's taking from that. There's this massive, expansive world to explore, and it's all divided into these little subplots, as you can see, very reminiscent of a Metroidvania-style game. And we've got secret hidden paths. You can see basically the blinking area that I'm in right now. There's a path beneath me. On the next one to the right, and then to the one on the right of that, there's an upper path, and those are hidden areas that you can get to. Sometimes they're accessible just by finding them, but other times they're locked behind an item gate. So just like Metroidvania-style games typically do, as you progress through the game, you'll unlock special items or abilities that allow you to backtrack and go to hidden areas that were previously inaccessible to you, and that's going to be the case here in Dust as well. Okay, so I need to go. Doesn't look like I can go over there, so we're going to go ahead and drop down. And we've got these little explosive fruit things that we can actually pick up by doing our spin. It's going to pull it off of there, and then any enemy that it comes in contact with, it will deal damage to. And the cool thing about this is you can take it with you, so I can get it to spin. It's got a countdown timer, but I can take it with me to another engagement, just like that, and blow people's faces off. It's really funny. All right, so we'll just engage with some of these guys here. And we've got a whole bunch of different items to pick up. There's a crafting system in this game as well, which we'll take a look at a little bit later on. I just want to engage in a little bit more combat with you. Or rather, show you guys. Don't worry, I'm not going to fight you. I want to show you guys a little bit more combat before we get into any of that stuff. Oh, I found myself a lovely key. Fantastic. Keys are used to unlock treasure chests that are scattered throughout the world. That will give you... Well, let's see. We can go... Can we not keep going right here like I thought we could? Doesn't look like we can. We're gonna have to drop down. So keys will unlock chests, which will give you resources that are used for the crafting in the game. You can also pick up health items and things of that nature. Like, for example, I've got a health, looks like a pistachio there in the upper left-hand corner. You see that number 1? Now, if I hit H here, it's gonna use whatever's in my quick slot, which is currently that pistachio, and it'll heal me up a little bit, which is great. There's a parry system in this game as well, which once someone attacks me, I can show you. So if he goes for an attack, I can respond with a holding down my basic attack command, which will parry that incoming blow. And there you go, I took a couple shots, but then there was finally a parry. Now, you've been seeing me mow down guys pretty easily. So in terms of the game's difficulty, there's 4 difficulties. It boils down to essentially it's casual, normal, tough, and then hardcore. So of those 4 difficulties, I'm playing on the 3rd, which is tough. So it's the second from the hardest difficulty. And the basic enemies are quite easy. Now, even though they're easy to dispatch of, you also, as a counterbalance to that, you take damage pretty quickly, so you can die fairly easily as well. And I'm still pretty low, so we're gonna heal up there a little bit. So this is one of those areas that I'm talking about, this small little tunnel. As far as I know at this moment, I've got that's inaccessible to me. I have no way to getting through there. So it's either gonna be an ability or an item that I unlock that allows me to get through this tight space that currently I am unable to do. These portions right here, these little, what would we call this? This is like a gazebo or something. These areas, these altars, waypoints, whatever you want to call them, they are for auto-saving. You can also do a manual save here. Plus, you can do travel, but it requires you to use a Teleportation Stone. Now, these need to be purchased, or you might be able to find them in the world. I haven't yet, but you can purchase them from vendors, and this allows you to teleport anywhere within the world map as you see fit. But I don't want to do that right now. I think we're going to continue throughout this area to show you just a bit more of this game's combat before we go to the world map and I progress the story a little bit further. So yeah, this game was oh boy, I'm down to like no health right now, so we're gonna try to parry his attacks here. And this is a big giant guy. So you see how quickly I lost my health, and I've got no more healing potions. So what I basically need to do is find my way to a shop here so that I can get some more healing. In fact, I think there's a shop. There's a shop just to the left of where we are right now. So maybe I should go back there. That's tough, actually. Yeah, I think I want to go back there to get to the shop. So I can show you the shop, and I can also show you the fact that enemies respawn. So whenever you've cleared an area in this game, and there's a significant amount of areas, whenever you clear one for the story purposes or whatever, whether it be a side quest or a main quest, when you come back, it will be... Okay, here we are. So this is the area with the shop now. I just need to find that shop owner. I don't really remember where he is. The enemies in that area will be respawned, so you're always going to have something to clear. Now, obviously, as you level up and progress, there's a level progression system, stats, and everything like that. As you level up and progress and you go back to those older areas, sure, it's going to be much easier for you to dispatch of the foes in those places. Oh no! Remember, I've got like no health right now. There's a chest, so we'll take a look at that too. It's something else I wanted to show you guys. So you saw me pick up a key earlier. We use those keys once again to unlock chests. And since there's a chest right there, I can show you that. The combo system is another thing we can talk about that I haven't covered yet. Essentially, you combo attacks, and the more you get in a row, the more experience you'll get once combat has finished. Now, if you get hit, that breaks the combo and breaks your experience gain from it. Okay, so I've got 5 keys available. This chest cost 1, so we're going to move up to it and hit W. Can I not do that? Okay, there we go. And then we're going to be presented with a mini game where we just have to follow whatever it says, up, left, down, right. And then we can see, ooh, this one was with a bunch of pistachios, which means I don't even need to go to the shop guy now. Well, I probably still need to, because all of them did not even fill up my health bar all the way at this point. Those were sort of pretty low-level healing items, basically. Okay, so we're gonna call down a few more fireballs there. So yeah, it is, the combat is pretty simple, even on the 3rd of 4 difficulties. I haven't tried the 4th of 4, so maybe it gets significantly harder. But again, like I mentioned, even with enemies dropping quickly, you drop quickly as well, and so that's sort of how they counteract that system. At least that's what it appears to be so far. So there's my combo, and the combo is going to continue to go up once a certain amount of time passes. That's not going to be the case anymore. And we have just leveled up as well, but first we'll go to the shop here.
Ah, hello again, my friend. I suspected you would return.
So this is the basic shopkeeper. He is the shopkeeper that you'll find as you're exploring throughout the world in these little tents. There are other shopkeepers. They have as far as I can tell, the same items across the broad base of them, and there's really no difference except for their personality, though there might be specialty items for certain vendors. I just really haven't noticed that so far. So starting off here, we've got some food that we can purchase, and I guess I'll buy some things here. I've got plenty of gold, so why don't we buy ourselves a bunch of cupcakes. And since I've got 5,000 gold, I don't mind spending about 1,000. So there we go, spent 1,000, got myself 5 cupcakes, wonderful. We can move on over here, and we have got various pieces of equipment that you can have. So there's pendants. This is the one that I currently have. I could purchase a better one here. Not gonna do that now though. Then there is armor, just a basic armor like a chest piece. This is currently the one that I have. It's the best one that he offers. And then there's also rings. I've got 2 of these. And items and keys. So here is, this is the Teleportation Stone. So that's what I was talking about at the teleport pad. I've got 1 of them. Why don't we just purchase the second one here? There's also a revival stone, allowing you to revive yourself mid-combat. Now, if you die in the game, you just go back to your last save point, but with one of these, you can revive instantly where you are. And then you can purchase additional keys. I find these in the world though, so I'm not going to spend 3,000 gold on that. Now the materials. So you find blueprints in this game, and you can use those blueprints to make things like armor or rings, for example, and they all cost materials. Now the interesting thing about materials is vendors will continue to accumulate materials based on what you have sold them. So I'm going to switch into sell mode here, which will show you that the materials that I currently have on my character Dust. Okay, so these are the materials that I have. Now notice those green check marks. The green check marks are the materials that I have that the vendors also have. Now the ones that aren't checked, what will happen here is if I sell this to him, going forward, whenever they restock, which they restock every so often, there's like I guess like a time where they consistently restock. Whenever they restock, they will now restock the items that I have sold to them, and this will be the case across all vendors. So whenever I find a new material that I have, even though I might need it for an item, it's best for me to sell it to the vendor so that when they restock that item, and that item then becomes available for purchase from them for me. So that's essentially how it works, and now basically every item that I've found so far is going to be available in the shops, and then I can purchase them when I need them to make things through the crafting system.
Your transaction is most appreciated.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad the transaction is appreciated. Okay. So what we will do here then is we will keep on going. Oh, I have leveled up, so let me go ahead and do that. We're gonna pull up in this screen here. And the level up process, so what'll happen is every time you level up, you just acquire experience through combat. The combo system gives you more experience. You get 1 gem, which you can spend in one of these few areas. There is health, attack, defense, and Fidget. Fidget, of course, being my little animal creature sidekick, and I can just increase her capabilities. Now what's going to happen here is you notice that these are locked. You basically need to spend 4 gems in every category before you can progress to the second level. And so far, after 2.5 or 3. I'll take a look actually exactly how much in just one moment. But after a few hours of playtime, this is how far I've progressed. And until I get 4 gems in each one of these, I won't be able to progress to the second section to the right to continue to fill up those bars. It's basically a system that's going to make it so that you can't just stack all attack and burn through things a lot easier than it already is. Okay, so we're going to confirm that upgrade, and let me show you some of these other areas here. So we've got a basic inventory, and this is where I can equip health items, for example. Just like that, wonderful. And this is where you can see your current armor that you have. You can see I've got blueprints to make other pieces of armor. I just need the required materials and to go to the blacksmith to do that. And then here's some augmentation. So I currently have 6 attack. I could put some oil on it to give additional attack. Why don't we put this here, strength south, which is gonna give us 30 attack, and then times 1.1 for Fidget. And then we have got, these are just basic items in my inventory, keys. We have got Teleport Stone, Revival Stone. There's also these Resonance Gems. These are basically gate keys. There are certain resonant gates or gem gates that you can only get through once you have the corresponding color. So I can get now through blue gates, white gates, and purple gates. And these are sometimes hiding chests or special items and things of that nature. And then I also have a quest item there in Giandra's Laundry. Next up here, that was character inventory. We've got the map, you've seen that. Just a quest list. The green little things there, those are side quests. This is my main story quest. There's also notes that you find throughout the world, and then ventures. A new venture? Yes, ventures as well. And then again, here are all the materials that I currently have on my person. And then finally the stats. You can see I've played for almost 3 hours now. I'm 25% complete to the main game. I've explored 40% of the world, so that tells you right there that there's still portions in areas that I've explored that I have to go back to complete, and that's coming through the system of unlocking special moves or items. And then I found 23% of the treasure as well. Max hit chain 239. I'm pretty sure that's probably small because I'm not really good at that stuff. And I found 1 of 12 friends. I'll tell you what those friends are a little bit later on. It's a kind of cool system, paying homage to other indie developers, basically. Okay, so we're just gonna do my little spinny attack and just fly through the air all crazy like this, and then call down some fireballs and just completely wreck absolutely everyone. It's really kind of funny. Okay, a few more bad guys over here. Wonderful. All right, so you guys have seen a bit of the combat. You have a fairly good idea of how it works. So let's talk about what else is in this game. This game has challenge missions. I don't have any of them available to show you now, but basically what they are is just like, can I go to the map right now? Just like how every one of these sections has got a special thing to it, and some of them have treasures, some of them have save points, shops. Notice the red icon when I pull up the legend here that says a challenge. So some of these mission rooms, if you will, these area rooms, there'll be a challenge mission, and it'll be structured sort of like this, but basically you'll have a set amount of time to get through the level, and there'll be various enemies or obstacles there that you have to try to bypass before the timer runs up. And then, you know, the faster you move, the more experience that you're going to get from the process, and the better reward that you get as a result as well. But yeah, those exist. Here's an example again, that's that little tunnel. I think we already took a look at that though. In fact, I think we saw that exact one. But yeah, that's one of those things that I'm gonna have to come back to later in the game once I've unlocked the ability to do so. Wonderful. So the crafting system, crafting is done at a blacksmith, and once we get to the world map, I can show you where she is, but you would basically just have to go to her to craft any items that you've got blueprints for. And I've got a few blueprints on me at the moment. You saw actually a couple of them when we looked at my inventory. Now there's also a system that I still need to do, but there's a system in this game where you can basically send crafting materials to her, and she will make the crafting items, cutting away the need for you to actually physically move to her in order to do that. So basically something to make that system a little bit easier and take less time as well. And I think we're just gonna burn through this here. I guess the other thing we could do, oh, he broke my chain. Those monsters back there are kind of super annoying, to be honest with you. I'd like to show you Parry against him. So he does this little attack. He like pumps himself up here. We'll see it. Come here, stop running away. There we go, so do a parry. The parry system seems very forgiving. For example, that attack that I did there as a parry, I hit way too early, and it's still parried. So it seems like it's a very forgiving system in terms of letting you... Oh, shoot. Well, that was a miss. In terms of letting you parry. Now that one I hit right on time, and that seems like that was like a perfectly timed parry, but the one prior, I struck way too early, and it still counted as a parry. So these guys right here, hidden below me, I can't get to them at this point. You can drop down with hitting S and then spacebar, but I can't do that at this point. This is one of those things that are again locked behind this little crawl space here, which I can't currently get to. Another example of something that's locked behind an item gate or an ability gate is this right here, these vines. I just don't have the capability of climbing them, but in the future, once I get that item, I will be able to do that. Okay, so we found ourselves a gate, so why don't we just go to the world map? I'm going to use up one of my teleportation scrolls here. Okay, so yes, we're going to teleport. We'll use one of those gems, and this is the world map. So we've got our main town here. We started in the glade. The sanctuary is up here, Archer's Pass, and this little Ivydale Glen. Now, Ivydale Glen and Archer's Pass, both really small zones, and these were actually zones that I unlocked from picking up side quests from talking to people in the main village here. And before we go to the main village, I'd like to show you the town, or the sanctuary. So the sanctuary is where any friends that you unlock are going to be staying permanently, and the friends, they're locked in these cages throughout the game, and they are little indie characters, or they're characters from other indie games. Like this is the one that I've unlocked so far. So there's going to be up to 12 of them here chilling out in this little sanctuary, and it's just really cool. It's a really, really neat little thing, just kind of being like, hey, us indie developers, let's pay tribute to each other in our games, and that's basically what they're doing here. Just a nice little, there's no functionality behind that other than, hey, that's kind of cool. But I definitely like it, and I wanted to show you that for sure. So we're going to go back to the Aurora Village, and in this, I will show you guys just some of the dialogue that takes place in this game. So you can talk to these people. For example, I've done a side quest for him, so I just walk up to him and I hit W, and then we'll engage in conversation.
Here are those materials you asked for, Fail.
Great! Here's your payment. If you're willing, I could use your help again. I'd like to upgrade our weapons. Beast spears, while primitive, have finely chiseled stone tips that we can use for arrowheads. If you could bring me 8 beast spears, I'll buy them for a high price.
Okay, so I gave him some materials for, I don't know if I have 8 beast spears right now. Let me see if I do.
Please, let me know.
Okay, so it looks like I don't.
Much appreciated.
If I had 8 of them on me already, then it would have taken care of it, but apparently I don't. So basically I found some pieces of materials for him to make armor for the guards here in this town to try to fend off the invading monsters, essentially. And yeah, I just turned in the quest, and that's how the dialogue goes. It's these little cartoon animated back and forth thing. And this is the guy that I've done the main quest for, so let's talk to him and progress a bit of the main story.
It's great to see you back, son. I knew you could do it. The monsters have already calmed their advance. Tell me, what happened? Did you confront their leader?
He was right where you said he'd be. In fact, he seemed to be waiting for us.
Waiting?
In the middle of a small village, surrounded by the innocents he killed.
Oh no. That could only be Denham Village. Did you find any survivors?
I'm sorry, Mayor Bram, but there were none. This creature that attacked the village, he was some kind of lizard, wore strange armor, called himself Fuse.
A lizard, you say? A moonblood, perhaps. I wonder if Ginger would know anything about that.
Ginger? That girl up on the hill?
Her family was killed almost a year ago in Zepplik Village, a few days' journey to the north. General Gaius and his soldiers were looking for Moonblood sympathizers.
General Gaius? Do you know who he is?
Not personally. His is not a name we utter here without proper cause. I've never seen him or his soldiers personally, but tragedy tends to follow in their wake.
So why did they kill Ginger's family?
They were helping the Moonbloods, of course. Helping the enemy is a treasonous offense. Ginger escaped, but her parents and her brother did not. Regardless, I can't thank you enough for putting a stop to that mad beast before he came any closer to Ahrah. If you want to ask Ginger about Fuse, I'd suggest you hurry. It looked like she was preparing to leave town for a while. Good luck.
All right, so I don't want to progress the story any further. I certainly don't want to spoil anything for you guys who might be interested in picking up this game. And now that we've pretty much taken a look at all of the major systems, let me just give you some of my initial thoughts on the game. First of all, the basis of the story is, again, you play as this character Dust here. He's got a sidekick Fidget, his sword. It's like Ahrah, I believe is how you pronounce it, but it's a living creature that actually speaks to you. And essentially what happens at the start of the game is Dust wakes up in the middle of the woods. He doesn't know, first of all, how he got there. The sword comes to him saying that, claiming that he beckoned it. So the sword's like, hey, you called me over, let's go figure out what's going on. The sword doesn't know why he got called over. Dust doesn't know why he called it over because he's got amnesia. He literally doesn't remember anything. And the goal of this game, or rather the main point of the story, is you're trying to figure out who you are, what your purpose is, and at the same time you're trying to help people in this world by saving the village from this oppressive force that's coming in on it, these monsters and these Moonbloods characters, if you will. So it's an interesting story from what I understand too, by looking at reviews. I mean, this game came out about a year ago anyways. It's supposed to be a pretty mature and dark story as it progresses. It's definitely supposed to be a very adult themed, even though it's set in this very cartoony world. It's definitely supposed to have a rather interesting story. In terms of the gameplay length, it's supposed to take about 10 hours. Now again, as you can see here, if we pull up the stats tab, I've done a fourth of the game and it's taken me about 3 hours right now, and I admittedly have probably taken my time a little bit, so maybe you're looking at 10 to 12 hours in terms of the length, and that's a pretty good deal given that this game I believe is going to be priced at $15. That's how much it cost when it came to the Xbox. The combat is very fluid and fun. I definitely suggest playing it on a harder difficulty because, as you've seen, it's relatively easy to dispatch of enemies even playing on the third of 4 difficulties, so I'm probably going to jump this up to hardcore just to get a little bit more of a challenge as I progress through the game. But I like it. My first impressions are pretty good. It got great reviews, so I'm assuming, I'm going to trust those. And with my first impressions, I would definitely recommend this game. And that'll do it, guys. This will be coming to Steam on May 25th for the PC. Or if you never played it on the Xbox and you have one, you could go ahead and do that as well. That should also be available on the Xbox Live Marketplace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force checking out Dust, An Elysian Tail, the 2D side-scrolling action RPG with metroidvania elements. If you guys like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.
Oh, hello again. Thank you so much for helping me before.
You're welcome, Corbin. Just be a little smarter next time, all right?
Well,
it's too dangerous out there for a kid like you. And don't worry about Gianni. I'll sort him out.
Yeah, like the laundry.
Yes, Fidget. Like the laundry.
Okay. Thanks again. You're a pretty good fighter.
Well,
You're so strong, I'll bet you'd have no problem getting a 1,000 hit combo. Of course he wouldn't. He could do it in his sleep. Sleep combo.
Fidget, calm down.
Whoa. Do you really think you could do it?
A 1,000 hit combo? Sure, why not?
Oh, wow, awesome. Hey, when you hit for the 1,000th time, you should say, this one's for Corbin.
Yeah, no.